Hey everybody, it's me, Mama Retro. Today I'm going to try to give some parenting advice. Not that I'm an expert or anything. I've raised three, and I have three grandchildren, so I have a little bit of experience. But I'll probably just get into maybe situations and what I think might be the best way to navigate the situation. They figure out at a pretty young age how to lie, and that's the biggest thing you come up against is the lying. But once they figure out if they lie, it gets them out of trouble. Well, then lying becomes more frequent. So you have to teach your child that it's better to tell you the truth than it is to lie to you, because then when you find out they lied, you're a little angrier. So it's better to teach them it's better to tell the truth. Tell me the truth, you won't get in as much trouble. But if you lie to me, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. When they're little and they start walking, one thing is they can get away from you in a minute. We went to a color cruise here in Tennessee, a fall color cruise to see the colors and everything. But we ended up at a place where they had they had all the crafts and food and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, my oldest son, Matthew's oldest brother, Bobby, was about two or 3 years old. And no, he was older than that because he was talking. He was about 4 or 5. And all of a sudden, my mother looked around, and she said, "Carla, where's Bobby?" And I said, "I had his hand, but he pulled loose. I thought he was walking right behind us. He was lost." So we got frantic, and there were Shriners at the fairground where the color cruise ended up at. And they started looking for him. We told them what he looked like, and they finally found him. And he was scared to death. They can get away from you so fast. Matthew used to get in clothes racks. He used to drive me nuts, getting in clothes racks, hiding in between things and in stores. He was terrible. Climbing up where the toilet paper and paper towel is. And also, I don't agree with trying to force a child to eat if they say they're not hungry. I mean, nobody forces us to eat if we're not hungry, do we? Do they? To me, you don't beat a baby, a little one, a toddler, but you have to pop that hand when they reach for something that they know they're not supposed to get. You pop their hand. I tell you, they'll do it over and over again because they're very stubborn. And when a toddler especially, when they see something on a shelf they want it. Never drive with a child in your lap, please, please, please. That is so stupid. I see people driving down the road sometimes still with a kid in their lap. That's very dangerous. When your kid goes to school and they get in trouble at school, and they're going to tell you that that's not the way it happened, or they're going to tell you this teacher just doesn't like me, but 9 times out of 10, your kid did something. One of my boys had 18 office referrals in one semester. And I'm not going to say his name, but he's Retro Wolf 88. I also think it's really good for your child to have a pet, whether it's a cat, a dog, guinea pig, hamster, whatever. Children need to learn how to take care of things, and that their first actual living thing that they take care of would be their pet. And dogs are really good, depending on the breed when it comes to children. But dogs can really help a kid deal with something that might be bothering them, because the dog doesn't talk, he only listens, he doesn't expect anything, he only gives. And that's what a kid needs at that time. And I've often found Kirsten with her arms wrapped around Dylan when she was feeling bad, and he's just sitting there letting her. He's comforting her. You have to start talking to your kids at a pretty early age nowadays about drugs, alcohol, smoking, all of the things that cause us to be less healthy. And it's hard, and sometimes it doesn't matter how much you say to them. They have to learn it on their own. I worked at night, and I would pick Matthew up, and I'd pick him up on the way home, and we stopped that particular night. I ran into a market, one of the little markets, to grab something, and he was in his car seat. He was about 2. And so I came out, and he'd locked the doors. And he had gotten out of his car seat, and he locked the door on me. And the keys were in the car, and my purse was in the car. And they didn't have a keypad where I could key in numbers or anything. So I was out there trying to get him to unlock the doors. He was literally crawling around that car like a monkey, just laughing, just smiling and laughing. He thought it was so funny that he'd locked me out and I couldn't get in. The harder I begged him to unlock the door, the more he laughed. I mean, there was people coming around the car, strange people he didn't know, trying to convince him to unlock the car door for us. And I believe there was a policeman showed up there, and I tried to see if he could, to see if he could get the car open. But I don't remember how the car got eventually open. Did you unlock the door?
I don't remember this at all.
He came home from school. He was in first grade. He was I even remember the teacher's name, Miss Scott. She really liked Matthew because he was like the best reader in the class. So she kind of, it was a little favoritism, I think. But anyway, he came home from school and he says to me, he still had his backpack and everything, "Mom, I'm going to go back to Bobby's." Now, there was a small mobile home way in the back behind our house, and his oldest brother had been staying there at the time. And so he said, "I'm going to go back and see Bobby." So he went back to the trailer, and Bobby said that he never left him alone except that he did have to go to the bathroom. While Bobby was in the bathroom, Matthew apparently knew Bobby kept a stash of magazines underneath his bed. So he dove under there and he got one. And he put it in his backpack, which Bobby didn't know. When he came back home a little later, he had it in his backpack, and I never looked in his backpack. So the next day, he came to me and he told me about this friend that he had. And he said, suppose this friend that I had, if he took a dirty magazine to school and showed it to other kids and everything. And so he gives me this scenario is what he does about a kid sneaking a bad magazine into the school and what should happen to them. Basically, he was, of course, I discussed it with him, not knowing that the scenario, he was the kid in the scenario, and he was trying to feel me out to see what I would do. So anyway, when he took that book to school, and kids started looking at it, and he started taking pictures out of it and selling them to other boys. And then at one point he threw the magazine in the trash, and his teacher found it. I got a phone call because some of those kids snuck those pictures home and showed them to their parents, and literally tons of parents were calling his school to let the principal know that a little boy named Matthew Wolf was selling him these pictures. And the parents were like furious. They were furious. And I would have been too. I can understand the pictures he was selling would make a parent angry. I can understand completely.
Okay, what advice do you have for parents of boys if they accidentally walk in on their boy masturbating.
Oh Lord, I did that 3 times. I walked in on my oldest son, my middle son, and my youngest son. And actually, to be honest with you, I think they were more embarrassed than I was. It wasn't anything I hadn't seen before. A little smaller. Best thing to do is just act like you didn't see nothing and say, "Oh, I'm sorry." Turn around and walk off. I always told my boys, I'd rather you have sex with your hand than sex with a girl and end up with a baby you didn't need. Okay, guys. Well, that's just a few thoughts I have on parenting, having done it 3 times. And I'm sure some of it you won't agree with it. I hope some you do. But anyway, always remember that your child will become what you make him or her. You have such a role in the early sculpting of your child's personality and behavior, and they're a precious gift. Never forget that. And you don't learn to be a parent from a book. You learn by doing it. And each child, it gets a little easier, and you know a little more. So just hang in there. So if you like this, shoot me a thumbs up, or leave a comment if you have any parenting tips that I might not even know, and subscribe, and we'll go from there. I'll see you later.